or any general biology master's. Okay. There's also dental hygiene, and I'll go over that later in a minute. And then dental hygiene to DDS pathway that Ms. Boulevard mentioned earlier, that for a dental hygiene to DDS pathway, it's a great option. Only a few students will be selected into this pathway program, and they're actually guaranteed admission to DDS. So you do dental hygiene for 2 years, and then 4 years of DDS. Okay, so 6 years total. It's the same type of speed if you were to do the regular programs, but this one, the difference is you're guaranteed admission into DDS. Okay, and there are requirements that you have to follow, and I'll go over that later on too. Go ahead.
For the hygiene DDS pathway, you don't do any of the application process?
There is you don't do ADSAS for the hygiene to DDS pathway. Good thing you brought that up. They have their own application. You have to apply to 2 different departments. One through the main university as an undergraduate admission applicant, and then one through the dental school.
Unless we're already students.
If you're already a student, then you just have to worry about submitting the hygiene application. Yeah. For individual questions about that, you can also make an appointment with me, and I can go over the process. It's a long process. The application is there's a lot of questions, and you have to make sure your classes have articulated or transferred over, because they also ask for your general education requirements. Okay. Yeah. You have to meet the general education categories for USC, and the diversity requirements and all of that in order to get admitted to dental hygiene. If you're already a student here, that's easy for you, so that shouldn't be a problem. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions about? Oh, go ahead.
So the dental hygiene to DDS, that would just apply to like USC, like it wouldn't apply to, like if you wanted to apply to a different school or something,
It's just for USC. So you would only start into USC's DDS program. Yeah. And the requirements for this program while you're in hygiene is contingent upon acceptance into DDS. So you have to maintain a certain GPA while you're in hygiene, okay, like a minimum of 3.0, earn faculty recommendation from the dental hygiene faculty. You still have to go through the interview process, still have to take the DAT while you're in dental hygiene, and still meet the minimum requirements, yeah, while you're in hygiene. And then once you meet all of those, then you're guaranteed, you're officially accepted into DDS. Okay. Recommended coursework, you're probably familiar with this already. There's some of this, biochem, human anatomy is highly recommended. I hear that a lot from dental students, human anatomy, histology, pathology, and virology. And you can also take non-science classes like drawing, sculpting, business management, since business has to do a lot with dentistry. Of course, this would help with your manual dexterity skills if you were to take drawing or sculpting or 3-dimensional type classes. Okay. Any questions about recommended coursework? Go ahead.
I guess how important would it be to actually take these classes like someone that hasn't taken them for some
Okay. When it comes to reviewing applications, when it comes to comparing applicants, yeah. Well, it depends. Because since we do a whole file review, let's say you only complete all only the prerequisites, because it depends on the major as well. Some students who that get accepted into our program are non-science majors, but they did very well in the prerequisites, yeah. And also did well in the DAT section, especially on the science sections. So if you can do well in those, then you're proving to the community that you're, again, capable of handling dental curriculum, and that you have the basic science knowledge based on your DAT scores and your prerequisite performances from your prerequisite courses. Yeah. Okay. But we highly recommend that you take at least a couple of these recommended science classes if you're a non-science major. At least take a couple of them, especially anatomy or even physiology. Yeah. If you talk to some dental students, they can also give you some recommendations for other classes. Go ahead.
The top 2 bullets, usually those classes, do they have a science review?
Good question. Yes, all of these classes are within the areas of biology, the first 2 bullets, so they would count towards that science GPA that we look for. The science GPA that we look for is it's biology, chemistry, physics. In other words, it's also known as BCP. Okay, but we just call it science to make it easier. When you apply through ADSES, there's 4 different GPAs that ADSES computes. One is called BCP, the other one's other science, or other science or total science. And then the third one is non-science, which are GE classes usually, or other major non-science major classes. And the fourth one is the overall GPA, the cumulative. But USC mainly looks at the BCP and the cumulative, okay, or total GPA. Does that make sense? The BCP in total is what we mainly look at. Okay, so this is the entering class profile 2011. Just going to go over this briefly. We received over 3,300 applications last year. This is for the class of 2015. And about 540 were invited for interviews, so about 16-17% of the pool invited for an interview. 144 students matriculated, that's how many seats we offer each year, 144 seats available, in other words. So we actually accepted more than this, because not all of them are going to say yes to USC. So we're rolling admissions. Rolling admissions means that we're going to keep on going until the class fails. So we continue interviewing, but continue accepting until the class fails. Okay, so we probably accepted over 200, about 240, yeah, out of the 540 that we interviewed. Okay, that's total. And then 71% of the students were science majors. So some of them, a good amount actually, were non-science majors. And 100% of the class has earned a bachelor's degree. Even some has earned a master's degree or an advanced degree, and one actually earned a Doctor of Medicine degree. Yeah, we've had so many different types of majors here. We had registered nurses that earned a bachelor's of science in nursing. We had a pharmacist a long time ago. We had, again, a clown. Not kidding. We had a magician. We had teachers in the past. Engineers, that's very common, a lot of engineering majors. Some people actually worked as an engineer before they got into dentistry. We had artists, actors. One of our students in the first year class was an actress. Yeah, and so we have so many different types of people, different backgrounds. It's amazing. This class profile continues. Average overall GPA is 3.4. That's all your coursework, the entire coursework. So your GE, your major coursework, your science prerequisites, all of that. That's your overall GPA. And the average has been 3.4. Average science GPA, which is mainly BCP, that's what we look at again, BCP, average 3.4 again for this entering class profile. Okay, DAT averages has been 19 to 20. Where individual scores range from 15 to 30. We actually had a few of them that actually scored a 30 in one section or even two sections. One of our first year students got a 30 in OEM and GM. Yeah, not kidding. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. I think I've seen three 30s this year. Yeah, someone actually got 30s in all the sciences. I know, it's amazing. Any questions about our profile? Again, these are just averages. These are just averages. If you're below this range, or below this DAT range or GPA range, it does not mean that you're not going to get in, that you're not going to get it, you're not going to get an interview. It does not mean any of that. These are just averages. Again, we do a whole file review. It's a holistic review. We don't just look at the numbers. We look at the details of everything in your application. Okay? Not here to discourage you. Okay, now I'm going to go over our interview process. This is subject to change each year, but this is what's going on with our interview currently, our format. Is this an interview? We get this question all the time. I'm assuming a lot of you already heard about our interview, how it works. We do group interviews. So why is the SC interview so different from other schools? I know a lot of dental schools out there, they do personal interviews. They have a faculty or higher administrator that would interview them, or even a dental student interview them. We actually don't have any type of interview like that. It is an interview. Let me explain. The committee's purpose is to discover those things we cannot know from reviewing your application. In our group interview, we give them a problem-based case learning exercise. Okay, we want to know how they're able to think, how they're able to communicate in a group setting, how comfortable they feel. This is to assess their communication skills, their team building skills, okay, their ability to speak and reason, to listen and understand others. Again, their thinking skills, their problem-solving ability, and how comfortable they feel overall in a group setting. So again, we give the applicants a problem-based case learning exercises. That's part of our curriculum. We're not 100% PBL, but that's just part of the learning tools. That's one of the learning tools that we use. So this part of the interview, this is why we do this kind of interview, because we do not see this on your application, but when we see you in person, we know how to assess how well you interact in a group setting. And we also evaluate, of course, each one of you individually, how well you interact and so forth. Okay. We also included a couple of individual questions in our interview format, where it's sort of like you're in a pageant. Okay, they pull up a basket. There's